Yes, it's recording. So I'm opening the meeting. It's gone starting time, and so away we go. This is the, I don't know, eighth or ninth Paris Old Cenarian Poetry Circle, and we're seven people, eight with Zafar listening in from the background, and one or two more people will join us for sure. And this is just the right size of group for us to be able to talk seriously. Welcome, Chitra, and welcome, Sunita.
Hi, Albert. Hello.
Hello, Zafar. Settle
Hey,
down.
Harbans, how are you?
Settle down, Zafar. But
I
now we're
am
going to
settling down.
yes, and now we're having Arun present himself a little bit, please. A few words about yourself, Arun.
Well, I'll try and make it as quickly as short as possible. I spent my lifetime as an engineer, working in technical field. However, my initial interest has always been in the fine arts. So I actually acted in a bunch of plays in Hindu College, and then later on in some plays in Chicago. And I started a writers group in Chicago about 25 years ago, and we published 11 chapbooks, which is where everybody contributes 3,000 words, and they were poetry, prose, everything you want to call it under the sun. And I moved to Sarasota about 6 years ago, and I started a writers group here, but the number of people are lower, are smaller, so therefore we haven't been able to put any chapbooks together. Of course, the COVID has shot that in the, we can't do that anymore. But life's been good. I mean, I enjoy writing. I'm not looking for making money out of it, but it's a release more than anything else. And the muse avoids me every now and then, but whenever I do have the muse, I'm up most of the night just writing, so I enjoy it very much. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just fill the others in because I know a bit more about you. You studied at Sanaa, then you went to college engineering physics in Delhi, and then you went to America. You had a long career in Honeywell and in big companies. You're a top executive and an engineer, so you know a lot about life. But I see and we see that you're a literary person, and that's how you want to present yourself today. And that's
Right.
perfectly good. And we all have a day job, and we have one or two evening jobs. And you seem to have a day and an evening and a morning and a night job as well. And that's how it should be. Chitra,
Thank you.
good evening to you,
Yes.
Chitra.
Good evening. How are you, Arbalji?
And good
Hi.
evening to Sanjeev as well. And everybody is listening in. And so the rest of us, we know each other a little bit. And I won't have us all going through introducing each other to ourselves again and again. But if need be, we may ask anybody to say a bit more about themselves. I see, Vinay, you're just in time, Vinay.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Good
Hello.
Hi.
evening.
Good to
Welcome
see you
to
all.
Vinay Tulli. Vinay, you're the kind of person one should have a Cenarian 3 cheers to Vinay for coming back to
Yes.
good health.
Coming back to the
Congratulations.
living. Coming back to the living, literally.
No, it's a
Thanks.
wonderful thing. You've been through a very bad time.
Very bad.
Congratulations.
It was nightmare. Nightmare is the only word I have for it. Touch
Wow.
and go nightmare.
Wow.
Thank you for joining today, Vinay. Arunji,
Yeah, no, so and in
COVID
all my enthusiasm, I put it on at 9 o'clock, not remembering that the time is 9:30.
Yes, yes, yes. But
Hmm.
you're looking okay, Vinay. You're looking okay.
You
We
know,
know
I've
that
got, I've got the moon face of a steroid taker. So all I can say is I look like a football. So please bear with that. A football
no,
with some
no.
hair on his face.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
Last time you had a lot of lipstick and makeup on, and we're waiting for that the next time. Next time we want you
Next time.
looking plenty
Next
of
time I'll be
lipstick.
all
All decked
made
up. All decked up.
red lipstick and all.
We like you decked up.
100%.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to send you the first poem, which has been contributed by Vivek, and it's a topical poem. It's an easy poem, and it's going to come to you straight away.
Arunji, I don't know if I added Arunji on the WhatsApp. she in the group?
Kumkum, I didn't hear what you said.
She's on the WhatsApp group.
You should have received something right now.
She is.
Where should I be looking for it?
In the WhatsApp group.
Oh boy.
In the poetry group.
Oh, that's on my cell phone then, right? I'm on the computer right now.
Yeah, go on to your cell phone.
I've sent it. Have you received it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, rule is to check.
Okay, good, good. Well, take 2 minutes to read it. It's a simple poem. It's a topical poem, and it'll get us in the mood.
I can hear you guys anyway while I'm looking for it. Yeah, I have it. Go ahead.
Okay. Harbans, okay?
Yes, please start. Yeah.
So as you know me, all of you by now, I guess I'm a real stickler for looking for real gentle, easygoing poems, nothing to really break your head about. This one's called Happy New Year. Isn't it fantastic? Perfect strangers and you saying, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All day long, as if everybody in the world has suddenly become a friend who wishes you abundance. Wouldn't it be wonderful to treat every day this way? February 9th, Ides of March, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Any old Wednesday, Happy New Year. I think it would catch on and blaze, a wildfire of generosity and kindness. Every day, the glory and the newness. Most people don't know this, but the birds started doing this years ago. And look and listen how it's worked out for them.
Very nice.
I
Well,
like it.
Is there? Vivek is absolutely right. He gives us these very gentle poems that don't need us to kind of scratch our heads and torture ourselves to find the meaning. We get it all. But there are many things one can say even about a simple subject like this. And are we friendly in these Happy New Year times? Do we manage to be really friendly with people? Can we be friendlier more often? It's a funny thing being friendly with strangers without reason, just saying Happy New Year to them. It needs a certain strength, and this collective effort by everyone helps us all to go a little bit further. So go on. Anybody else got to say anything about this subject of popular general generosity, seasonal generosity?
It should be there all the time, not just seasonal. As the poem says, why not wish each other on a Wednesday or the Ides of March or whenever?
Well,
always
Vinay,
be abundant.
That's a nice wish, but there are reasons why it doesn't happen.
Okay, let's hear from others. What's
why it shouldn't happen? So that's the key word. The question really is, every year begins anew every day, and that's the point. This is an artificial construct of January 1st. It's got nothing to do with humanity or anything. So
Sure.
Brilliant way to cut through time and focus on mood. And I think that's what's important, mood.
And it's like when you go to sleep at night, It's like you die. So you wake up, you're alive again in the morning. So it can be a happy it is a new day, new life, new year. And I like the feeling of, the joy in oneself. If I am how do I feel when I'm wishing you? I mean, just by wishing you, I'm bringing out a good feeling of mine. So I'm feeling good, Happy New Year, I'm saying to you, and I'm smiling and I'm giving you something. So it's like, what's my mood? That's what I get out of it.
Yes, yes. Welcome, Sujoy. Welcome, Sujoy. We saw you slip in. We've missed you for a few weeks. And you're going to be reciting your poem that's been waiting a long while as well. So we're glad you're here.
Hi,
Thank you, thank
Sujoy.
you. Hi, sorry I'm late.
Sujoy.
Vivek, say some philosophy about your poem.
Oh, this doesn't require much philosophy, Harbans. But if there isn't so much more to discuss about this, I have a very interesting little a read which I found on Wikipedia about the poetess. So would you like me to just read those few lines?
Yeah, please.
So
you're giving us the name of the author then.
Yeah. The lady's name is Lisa Starr, and it has a double R, Lisa Starr. So Lisa Starr went to Rhode Island for a summer job in 1986 and loved island living so much that she stayed there for 30 years. She bought a derelict property and converted it into a 10-room inn, where she was the innkeeper for almost 20 years. The inn became headquarters for the Black Island Poetry Project, the renowned writing series she created and directed from 2003 to 2015. Starr was Rhode Island's poet laureate for many years. She is currently artistic director for the Arts Cafe Mystic and moonlights serving tacos and margaritas at a very cool local cantina. She is also collaborating with her longtime companion, the poet and Rumi translator Coleman Barks, on a memoir about grief, time, and their friendship with the poet Mary Oliver. And Mary Oliver, as you know, I think we've already read 4 or 5 poems of hers over the last 6, 7 meetings we've had. She's another real gentle soul. So that's what I found. I thought that was very interesting, combining culinary essence and, putting in poetry and enjoying yourself like this.
It's like a full life. I mean, you want to embrace everything that is wonderful in life.
Yeah.
Like cooking is a wonderful hobby, or even your profession. It's just lovely.
And it's beautiful the way she's, started these movements about poetry. And there's lots of YouTube stuff of her reading out her poetry, and very interesting lady. Anyway,
her name you said was
Lisa
sorry,
Starr.
her name Lisa Starr. Okay.
Yeah, with a double R.
With 2 R's.
You send that in the WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay. We welcome Rahul.
Thank you.
Gardener Rahul is here. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Okay.
Hi.
Raj wants to say something.
Yeah.
Please, Raj.
Okay, you can see a pun alert if you want, and that is, most people don't know this, but the birds starred during this year's ago. So it should be started, but instead it's starred. So you can
maybe I made
it as a typo, or you can
yes,
look at it
it's
as
my
a pun.
mistake then. It's my mistake, but actually both work.
Yeah.
No, but Raj's point is that there's a pun on the name of the poet in there.
Yeah.
Could be taken as such.
Absolutely. I don't know.
Okay, lovely.
Sorry.
Let's move on to the next poem. Thank you, Vivek.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
We're now having Sanjeev. You asked to be excused because you had to leave early, so we let you go second. And I'm bringing up your poem.
I overcommitted somewhere else and I cocked up my calendar. So I apologize. Uh, it's a short poem, like all of ours tend to be. And some of you may know it from before. It's the first time I saw it, and it caught my eye for the mood of the time. Um, so the do we give the title? I've forgotten. I haven't. Do we give the
Yeah,
title before?
the title, yes.
But give people 2 minutes to read it, just to peruse it a little bit.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Sanjeev, 2 minutes.
Nice.
Lovely. We
Okay.
enjoy
Very
it.
nice.
Thank you. So may I read?
Okay, if everybody is caught up, yes,
Yeah.
please, let's go.
All right, sorry. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I'm not there. I do not sleep. I'm 1,000 winds that blow. I'm the diamond glints on snow. I'm the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I am not there. I did not die.
Good. Nice one.
Thank you.
Let's just clarify who this might be addressed to, because it's a kind of it's a message to people who are grieving after you've left, but you're saying to them, don't worry, I'm all over the place, but it's rather self-flattering. So what's the message here? I will survive in all the beauty that you see around you, so you won't miss me.
I guess it's something like an epitaph. I mean, it could be like on a tombstone, and it's like, I think, a very beautiful or a very easy way. What is not the ease is not the right word. It's a beautiful way to think about death. I mean, we're all so paralyzed by the thought that one day we're not going to be here. But I guess when you read something like this, you do get the feeling that there is so much beauty around you that, you've sort of amalgamated yourself with the entire beautiful nature around you, and you're always going to be there in some shape or form.
A very good point. So, Vivek, this means that this is a poem to yourself. It's an epitaph for yourself.
That's how I'm reading it.
And
also
not to those
for the people who would grieve.
Sorry?
Also for the people who would grieve, isn't it?
It's written in that way, that is for the people who are at my grave, don't weep for me. I am all around you. I'm in this, that, and the other, all the beautiful things of life. But I find that to be a logical inconsistency. I mean, it's too self-flattering to be saying, don't grieve me. Look, I'm a wonderful person. I'm in the moonlight. I'm in the stars. I'm everywhere.
If I may,
Sujoy, please.
Yeah. I thought it was like a very beautiful ode to the immortality and omnipresence of the soul. So even though I'm physically not here, I am in everything, in all the beauty you see around me. And, don't grieve for me. I'm still around in some way or form.
But even take that more further logically. I mean, how can you say that of yourself? Unless you're saying, I'm not afraid of death. Wherever I go, whatever becomes of me, whatever happened and whatever I did on earth, I'll live on forever, so I'm not afraid of death. Is that the logic?
Must be a very enlightened individual.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does he carry us? Does he take us with him? Is this something you can agree with?
Yes, I would.
Sanjeev, may I? Do we go in sequence, or do we go in any particular order to give feedback, or is anybody whoever speaks up?
The chair has to call you, so not everybody speaks. Put up your hand, and I'll try and call everybody in order. So,
all right, thank you.
Sunita, you've been waiting for a long while politely.
No, it's okay. Actually, it's funny that today only I got a message from my teacher, and this poem only he's quoted, and he puts it in this terms, that this is directly experiencing oneness with the external elements. He's always talking about how we are part of the universe. We are very much part of nature, but we think that we are separate, and we are not. That's why he says that, this was followed by the practice of the 5 elements in the physical body with the external elements in nature. So outer elements are not different from inner elements. Actually, water, earth, fire. It's the same one is inside our body. Matter recycles, energy flows, life interweaves. Earth, water, fire, air, and space are public property, but this is mine, my body. You are but a trustee, it's not really yours.
Okay, Sunita, understood. We get that. Kumkum, bolo.
I think this poem reflects the consciousness basis of all. And
Kumkum, we can't hear you very well.
Speak louder.
Okay.
Speak louder, get closer to the mic.
This poem reflects, to me at least, the basis of the Hindu philosophy or religion, and perhaps other religions too, that there's a consciousness basis of all. And I think that's what Sunita was also saying, that the supreme power, or whatever you want to say, is within us and outside of us. It's everywhere. And that's how
yes, I think that's the only way it can be read. In any other way, I mean, it's a purely abstract poem on the nature of life and death. It's not about any one person whom you're leaving behind, your family, a loved one, and it's not even to yourself saying, this is my epitaph. This is a philosophical statement about life and death in general. Arun, you're the philosopher. Come in, please, Arun.
No, actually, Kumkum stole my thunder. What I was going to say is, our Eastern philosophy, we believe in reincarnation. And the bottom line is, we are souls on a long journey. There's just, we have the individual soul, and then we have the universal consciousness. And what we see here is a merging of the universal soul with the individual soul with the universal consciousness. It's like air in a balloon. When you puncture it and you're dead, and the air joins with everything else in the world. So, basically, this is parallel exactly what our ancestry, what our heritage states. So I don't think it's in any way flattering the individual. It's actually saying that I'm going back to the source, going back to Godhead, which is what I came from initially. And the interesting thing is, the soul is looking for freedom. It doesn't want to be encaged in a body, and here it's free. So the body has a survival instinct. So the two are in opposite through our entire life. Thank you.
Yes. Where is Sanjeev himself? He's gone. He had to leave. Okay. Well, I think that's enough of a conclusion about this. Arun, you've given us the gist of how it does fit, because it was looking incongruous at the beginning, but it makes sense only at this philosophical religious level. Okay.
Do you want to know who wrote the poem?
Tell us, please. Yes.
Okay, it's attributed to Mary Elizabeth Fry, but it's believed to have been written by Claire Harner Lyon, 1909 to 1977, and first published over her maiden name, Claire Harner, in the December 1934 issue of the Gypsy Poetry magazine.
And which country? Which place?
America.
England.
US.
England. Okay. So far away from Hinduism and from India and from reincarnation, somebody else has been tuning into the system. Okay, we must move on. Allow me to press on, everybody. And Dion, I see you're listening in from your campfire or something. Welcome, Dion. Oh, you're at home. I thought that you were so still. I thought that was a photograph.
Hi, Dion.
Hi,
Welcome,
sir. Hi.
Dion. Welcome, Dion. Welcome.
Can't
Yeah.
see you.
It's
You can
raining.
still not see me. Can you not see me now?
No,
Yes, yes, we
Now we
can. We
can.
can.
we can.
We
No, no,
can.
no.
Right.
In,
Yeah.
And
in your
are
voice,
you in a
yes.
camp? Are you in a tent or something again?
I wish I was, but then this is just my room. Like the mess behind me is my room.
Yeah, no, he's
And
he's a Zuckerberg follower.
No, you're looking great. You're looking great, Dion.
yeah, okay, all right.
Um, Arun, are you ready to give us your poem? Because you're big on God, and here we are. We're getting a God poem from you, and here it comes to everybody. It's a little bit long, so give people a chance to read it at least once, Arun.
Mm.
Everybody say when they've read, because it's a long poem. We don't want to leave anybody behind, so
I've read.
is really everybody through?
Yep.
Red.
Okay,
Yeah.
Arun, take us through, and then we'll discuss.
Thank you. Petition to God. Please, please, God, we need a change. Over millenniums, we humans have desecrated, defiled what's sacred for one and not the other. Cruelty, deceit abound in the annals of history. The banner of Moors values waves, but for a few. Hypocrisy, base and senseless, bigotry, lack of tolerance, the norm. So what do we do? I have a suggestion. Please, God, listen to my fervent appeal. Make humans at birth translucent, studied with brilliance shining like myriad diamonds. As they grow to adulthood, they're exposed to right and wrong. For every act of violence and cruelty, they take on the red hue. And the more atrocity they commit, the deeper the red. So if you saw someone walking down the street beet red in color, you'd know it's Attila or Genghis Khan's kin. Green for envy, and let's say yellow or deceit, double dealing, lying or cheating for hypocrisy. Well, that color must most politicians. Canaries, I think. God, you're forgiving and kind, so let's also put forth an avenue for atonement. The more time spent in good behavior, the shade would pale. Negotiations would be a snap. The players know each other inside and out. The saints' brilliance would be reason enough to pay homage. The term racist and colored would take a new meaning. Life would be simple. The rule of the head and the heart would be but one.
Way too fast, Arun. You said that
Sorry.
rattling speed. Nobody could follow the story, and there's a whole complicated story in there. So please say it slowly, and we'll follow the text as well. Recite
Oh, I'm
slowly,
sorry.
please. Recite slowly.
All right. I have my apologies. This is my first time here, so forgive me for my trespasses here.
Sure, sure. You're learning, but you need to take us with you. You need to take us with you.
So sorry, Harbans.
Please, please.
Okay, please, please, God. We need a change. Over millenniums, we humans have desecrated, defiled what's sacred for one and not the other. Cruelty, deceit abound in the annals of history. The banner of Moore's values waves but for a few. Hypocrisy, base and senseless, bigotry, lack of tolerance, the norm. So what do we do? I have a suggestion, please God, listen to my fervent appeal. Make humans at birth translucent, studied with brilliance, shining like myriad diamonds. As they grow to adulthood, they're exposed to right and wrong. For every act of violence and cruelty, they take on the red hue. And the more atrocities committed, the deeper the red. So if you saw someone walking down the street beet red in color, you'd recognize it's Attila or Genghis Khan skin. Green for envy, and let's say yellow for deceit, double dealing, lying, or cheating, or hypocrisy. Well, what color most politicians? Canaries, I think. God, you're forgiving and kind, so let's also put forth an avenue for atonement. The more time spent in good behavior, the shade would pale. Negotiations would be a snap. The players know each other inside and out. The saints' brilliance would be reason enough to pay homage. The term racist and colored would take on a new meaning. Life would be simple. The rule of the head and the heart would be but one. Thank you.
So this is a conceit. This is a cheeky poem about God and the human condition. I mean, it's a humorous poem. Can we disagree with any of this? Can anyone disagree with any of this? That the world is a wonderful place, that there's no conceit and cheating and lying, and all this is completely wrong, and to be talking like this is completely wrong. Does anybody support that point of view? I'm just saying this to get us going.
It's completely wrong to talk like this. You mean like the poem? I didn't understand what.
I'm saying, I'm just being provocative. I'm saying we all agree with all of this. So instead of saying, oh, we all agree, I'm trying to find something with which we don't agree in the poem.
I'm not
Sujoy.
sure why this is a poem. Sorry.
So,
Sujoy,
to build on what you were saying, sir, on whether you agree or disagree. Now, I'm not saying this is my personal opinion, but I do feel that this poem presents a fairly simplistic kind of list of what is considered right and wrong, and also tends to ignore the fact that we are human, and things like envy and jealousy and emotions like that, they're very human, and we don't really have the answers as to whether those are traits that are actually considered wrong by the Almighty if He exists or not. I mean, this could actually get dig a lot deeper into a very philosophical or spiritual discussion. But I do feel that it paints a very simplistic and probably what is the popular world view and accepted view, but it does have a very simplistic tone to what's right and wrong.
yeah, it's a humorous take on the whole thing. It's a light-hearted look at human frailty and all the ills of the world. That's why we said it's a conceit. It's a joke. It's a little bit taking it all lightly. Raj, I think you were trying to say something?
I got partly preempted by Sujoy here. So,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I agree with what he said. And so also the other thing I would add is that if it did happen, I would ask whether life would be worth living. If such a thing did happen, I would ask if life would be worth living.
We're all colorless and brilliant. We'd all be walking around shining like diamonds, translucent.
Yeah, I mean, and then you would have each other trying to be more brilliant than the other one, and so you get back to having envy, and you would go in a circle.
Quite true. No, I think this is sorry, Vinay.
No, I was agreeing with Raj that that's quite true. And to the colors, I would like to add as a very topical one, Trump would be orange. So all Trump-like people would come out orange.
But Vinay, he already is orange. So
that's why I'm saying that orange should have been included as a Trump color in Trump followers.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um,
Okay, Kumkum,
can I
last
say
person.
something?
Oh, sorry, Chitra and Kumkum.
No, I
I
just had
call.
a very small observation. I'm
Hmm?
not sure if Arun meant it as a joke or as a humorous. I think he was being more realistic and well, I don't know whether he was hopeful that things would turn out as he has prayed to God for. But I'm not sure whether it was meant in humor. That Arun can clarify at the end.
Kumkum?
As I read this poem, it just occurred to me, and I believe in it, that
Come forward.
good and the bad in all of us,
Louder, Kumkum.
good or bad. We have, according to the Hindu mythology, the Kauravas and Pandavas are sitting right in here. And it is in us to bring out the Pandav in us or suppress the Kaurav. And there are some days that the Kaurav just comes out. So it's not a binary definition of red. And the
Good.
humor, I noted, I was waiting for something blue, which didn't show up, right? Red was the bad guy. And I expected Arun's poem, or knowing a little bit about his worldview, I expected some characterization of blue also. So that's all.
I think, Kumkum, you're seeing more in the poem because you know Arun than is in the poem. In the poem, he's just having fun with God and the human condition. The poem is only having fun. It's not going into finding the Pandyas and goodness inside ourselves and so on. I don't think that's in the poem.
So what I'm saying is that when I read this poem, I sort of didn't agree with it. I mean, yeah, it's funny, but sometimes you agree with the humor and sometimes you don't. And I was like, I miss it.
Right. I agree with you. I think it's too flippant for the subject. That's my position as well. This is a big subject and we need a critical analysis of it, and just to put it onto God to solve the problem doesn't take us forward. Arun, allow this critique of your poem. Vivek, but Vivek is coming in. You'll have a chance at the end, Arun.
So the way I feel the canvas has been painted in this poem, it's very befitting, like a Marvel Comics movie, maybe, where all these absolutely men and women who are translucent are walking around. And I mean, I'm really like, but what I found very interesting in the poem was almost the last lines, which said the term racist and colored would take on a new meaning. That was a nice twist to, all these various colors that are being painted here.
Chitra, you asked this question. It's not funny. See this racist color, new meaning. It is intended to be funny. I think it is a light-hearted poem. But we let Arun come in at the last.
Right.
Arun, please conclude.
I am a Karmajan, and when I sent the poem to you, I said that it's a Don Quixotic kind of a film, of a poem, because I know it's impossible, right? I know that ahead of time this is not something that's going to happen. So the idea was to present something which would say, would this be an ideal thing? On the other hand, there is an element of truth in it, because we are going from Kalyug to Satyug. Satyug is when we eliminate all the badness in us, and we ourselves, our own souls, will become like divinities and like deities, So this is what I'm headed at. I mean, there's actually the other interesting thing I want to say is that, like everything else, you see art, everybody interprets it in their own way. So my interpretation to it is both. It is funny, and at the same time, I do intend for it to be somewhat serious. So like I said, I'm a curmudgeon, I'm a cynic, I'm whatever you want to call it. I'm an old guy who just says it like it is. Thank you.
Okay, so Chitra was right. She thought this was a serious poem.
Who's the author? Who's the author?
Tell us now.
I wrote it.
Oh,
well,
excellent.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Congratulations. And we will write to thank you for your poem, Arun.
Very good,
Okay,
Arun.
ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to the next poem because time is short. Kumkum, give us your hairbrush poem, which has just come to everybody. Everybody read and then Kumkum will recite.
I think it takes time to come from US to Ireland because I'm getting it late. I haven't yet got it. Yeah. That's all right. I'm just...
Yeah, red.
Let me know when I should read it, Harbans.
We'll wait for everybody to say when they've finished, and then we'll go.
Done.
And Kumkum, come closer to your mic, okay? Because you're a bit far from your mic. I don't know. The last time you spoke, we were not hearing you very well. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's go.
Title is The Earth is a Living Thing.
Louder, louder, louder.
You have to come closer to the mic.
I had my AirPods on thinking they would take care of it, but I guess not. So, Earth is a living thing is a black shambling bear ruffling its wild back and tossing mountains into the sea. Is a black hawk circling the burying ground, circling the bones, picked clean and discarded. Is a fish black blind in the belly of water? Is a diamond blind in the black belly of coal? Is a black and living thing? Is a favorite child of the universe? Feel her rolling hand in its kinky hair. Feel her brushing it clean.
One more time, please.
It really needs to be a little louder, Kumkum.
Okay. The earth is a living thing, is a black shambling bear, ruffling its wild back and tossing mountains into the sea. Is a black hawk circling the burying ground, circling the bones, picked clean and discarded. Is a fish black blind in the belly of water? Is a diamond blind in the black belly of coal? Is a black and living thing? Is a favorite child of the universe? Feel her rolling her hand in its kinky hair. Feel her brushing it clean.
Well, the first thing is that there are bits of this poem, bits of the words that we don't quite get what they mean. We get the general sense of the poem, but take us through, just explain what you understand by is a fish black blind in the belly of water.
You know, that's exactly something I didn't quite understand.
Okay.
And I took it sort of, just accepted it, knowing.
Okay. I think the point here is that these are various bits of nature, good and bad, black and shining. Is a black and living thing. Okay, but what about is a favorite child of the universe, meaning Earth is a uniquely inhabited living planet? Okay, we can accept that. But then explain, feel her rolling her hand in its kinky hair, feel her brushing it clean. Now, what's all this about?
Well, do you want me to sort of talk how I understood it? Or
Yes, please.
well, the authoress is a Black woman.
Ah.
Okay.
So I
That's
read
why
it to
the
her,
kinky hair.
and it is also the author is Lucille Clifton, and Sunita introduced us to this author when she presented her poem. And every time I hear a poem, an author that I have not heard before, and which is almost always, I know very little about poetry. I go with the book and I come through it, and then something strikes me either because I love it or because just reading a little bit about the author, it's like, oh wow. So I present it. So knowing a little bit about the author, that she's Black, and how she grew up, this poem made an impact on me, so I presented it. And of course, I am an environmentalist at heart, so that also had me choose this.
Nice
You are
cat
a
you
what?
got there.
You are a
Uh,
what?
Sunita, you were trying to say something?
No, I'm just asking Kumkum. I missed what she said, that I am a something and therefore I something.
But I do classify myself as an environmentalist.
Environmentalist. Okay.
Anybody else understand what this last paragraph means? Before we go into discussing it, we have to understand the poem.
Do we?
I think Vivek has something to say.
Oh, Vivek, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, on first reading, actually, it's almost like the words are so dismal and they're so hard hitting in a funny kind of way. These alliterations of like black, blind, black, belly, black, black being repeated again and again. So even though the authoress might be Black, it doesn't really pertain to her explanation of the way that it's the title is very nice, that the earth is a living thing. And then it's almost like, I mean, like saying, oh gosh, I mean, like, is everything really so bad? And when it comes down to the last paragraph, and what I'm trying to understand, that the earth is, okay, it's a black living thing, but it's a favorite child of the universe because it's the only one, I presume. And it's the universe that is like, rolling its hand over this it's this singularly multi-dimensional existence that is there in the space of the universe, and like gently trying to calm it down, I guess, in some shape or form. But don't you think the words are like, I mean, like really like tough words almost everywhere, like bones being picked clean, and it like all gives a very rather dismal picture of the earth. I don't know whether it's a very happily environmental friendly type of thing. ये नहीं मुझे समझ आया.
You're right, Vivek, but something is meant by every single line. All those words are there for a reason. They're not just there. They're trying to say something. They're trying to say something.
May I try the last paragraph, last stanza,
Sujoy,
sir?
please, Sujoy. Yeah, Sujoy.
So
Not Sujoy, it's Dion.
It's Dion.
It's Dion.
that was Dion actually speaking.
Oh,
Sir,
sorry.
you can go. You can go.
I thought I saw your hand
No,
up.
okay, I'll just take a minute though. So I agree with what Vivek said. When it was being read out, it is kind of bleak. It paints a very bleak picture, and I did get a sense it was written by a Black woman. But to me, I think it's more of a poem of protest. So and kind of like so she talks about all painting a picture of hardship, and then in the end, it's but it is a favorite child, and she's brushing it clean. So I just thought it was like more of a poem of protest than in a very animated kind of pictures kind of way. Sorry, Dion.
No, it's okay. May I?
Yes, please, Dion.
Okay, so what Sujoy sir said, I think I'm in a totally different direction, because in the last stanza, it's clear, like you said in the beginning, sir, that the Earth is the favorite child, and the Earth knows it, that it's the favorite child. So maybe I'm going out of on a limb or something, but then when you're the favorite child, sometimes you tend to flaunt it. And in order to flaunt it, you always maintain yourself. You always make sure your hair are combed. So I think that's what it meant in the end, that accepting that it to be the favorite child, being the favorite child, now it tends to keep itself clean, per se, brushing its kinky hair so that it looks presentable all the time and it stays the favorite child always.
Why kinky hair?
To put some masala into it, I don't know. But then, yeah, that's what I took from it.
Kinky hair because she's a black and she's
But
talking
that,
about her own freedom.
but how does that fit in? I mean, that's been thrown in, but it hasn't convinced me of how that fits in. Where is the black woman in this poem? Why is she in there? What are we talking about? We're talking about the earth as a living thing. It tosses mountains into the sea. It's a mighty shambling bear. Okay, we know about that. We know about the all the power of nature, that it has volcanoes and storms and fires and so on. And then is a black hawk circling the burying ground, circling the bones picked clean and discarded. So the earth itself has life and death in it. It has circles of life and death in it. This we can accept, that it's a black hawk circling the burying ground of dead bodies, and the earth cleans them up and picks them clean, and then there's a new cycle. Is a fish black blind in the belly of water? So in the bottom of the sea, there are blind black fish, and there are diamonds in the belly of coal. So the earth is multifarious. There are many parts and many shapes and sizes to this funny world that the earth is. And but then we come to, is a black and living thing, is a favorite child of the universe. We're back in the solar system up there. Feel her rolling her hand in its kinky hair. Feel her brushing it clean. What does that mean? Feel her rolling her hand in its kinky hair. Feel her brushing it clean. One thing could be that this is just as the world, the earth, is diamonds and darkness in the middle of the sea and storms and volcanoes. It is also black hair in human beings, kinky hair, different hair,
Yeah.
and brushing it clean. So this is part of the varied nature of the earth and life on earth. But it seems a bit far-fetched to me. Sunita.
Well, I'm going out on a limb now. I say that to start with, but I the feeling I'm getting from it is that she's identifying herself with the earth, and the earth is identifying with her maybe also. But she is identifying with the earth in the sense, I feel that she's actually talking about her female power and her black female power, which may be totally put down by the world or whatever, being black and being a woman. But she is saying her inner power, that I'm a living thing, and like a bear when tossing her hair and mountains going to the sea, she's so, that's the effect she has. And her this whatever black hawk circling and fish and diamond and this feeling her hand in his kinky hair, because her hand in her with a hand, not a comb, and kinky hair, it may be kinky but it's so powerful, and she's doing it, feeling her brushing it clean, so proud of it, so proud of her blackness, her what people may consider ugliness, but it's beautiful. So I identifying, like, that's the feeling it brought out in me.
I think you're right in the
Might be
second
on a limb, I
part.
don't know.
I mean, that human part, it's not the Earth and the planets that roll their hand in kinky hair. So this is definitely a human being. And so therefore we have to agree with you that the first part of the poem is also not about nature and the earth and the mountains and the sea. It's about a personified earth. I mean, as you say, it's the poet talking about herself in the form of the earth. It's a little bit far-fetched, but
Yeah, she's
maybe.
so earthy, like the earth, you know, she's so, I'm sorry for interrupting. She's so earthy herself, like the earth is taking the quality of the whole earthy thing into us.
Okay,
That's her real inner self.
well, then you'd have to do some more work, Sunita, to explain all this fish black blind in the belly of water, diamond blind in the black belly of coal. All of that has to be explained.
And
If it's not the
one would
earth,
be running poetry circles at once then. That's your job.
we need more time. I think this
That's
poem
your
is
job.
crackable. This poem is crackable. There is a meaning to the fish black blind in the belly of water. There's a meaning to the diamond blind in the black belly of coal. And it is to do with racism and to do with pride of black and diamond in coal. These are things to do with race and inner shine in the black person and inner
Yeah.
pride.
Yes, could I say
Even if she's
something?
blind, it doesn't matter. She's not helpless, powerless, and all that. And the diamond, the shining thing inside her, could be like that.
Actually, when this question you're asking again and again about what this fish black blind, if you read it, is a fish hyphen black comma blind hyphen. You know, that's the blind and the black are describing the fish. I mean, that's what it is. Actually, I think
Good
that
point. Yeah, punctuation helps us.
Yeah, I think the whole poem, I think, lacks punctuation. In fact, I almost think it's a mistake that after bearing ground, Kumkum has put a comma. I think the whole poem is without any punctuation. You're just supposed to.
You're right. You're right. There's
Could I say something?
Yeah.
Somebody trying to say something? Rahul, please come in. Yeah.
What I feel is it is about the black power, you know, the supremacy of the black people. You know, it's being written by a black poetess. And I think what she's trying to say when she's saying the diamond in the black coal is that that image that, you know, that in a black useless coal there is a diamond inside, and in the dark black seas there is a you know, almost blind, you know, where you can't see anything, there is a powerful fish. In the sky, I mean, all the elements of the earth, the water, the air, in the air it's the black hawk.
Yeah, you're right.
And on the land it is the black bear. So what she's trying to say is that black is supreme, black is powerful. She's just trying to convey the power of the black. But still, I can't make out what has been, what the last stanza is about, where the kinky hair and the brushing it clean. I still couldn't figure that out.
Arun, you're the.
You love your kinky hair also, and you're scripting it out.
We understand that. We understand that, but we want to see it explained textually in the poem. It's an idea of a black woman putting her hand through her hair and feeling it clean, but why is it there? How does it add up? How does it add up with what went before and after? What's the overall statement? How does it link together? That's where we're stuck. Arun, last chance. We're stopping after this.
Yes, I think all the comments that have been said is excellent, and they resonate with what I had intended to say. The thing that I want to point out, what I felt was that we typically associate black as something negative. In this particular poem, the author is trying to emphasize the fact that being black is not bad. We think of white as being good and black being bad. The implication here is black is another color. It has no associated badness with it to begin with. And the whole poem makes a lot of sense that, like what the gentleman just said, that inside the black is a diamond. There's goodness in everything. And again, she written from her point perspective, which is that she has a kinky here. The fact that a black person wrote this poem, it all fits together then for me. Thank you.
And the last, the way I interpreted the last uh, question is that here's this black woman who's gone through hardship. She became the poet laureate of Maryland, had
Wow.
to drop out of Howard University, not Harvard, but Howard, which is
Harvard, yeah.
traditionally a black university. And if you compare universities sort of low on the totem pole, that she sort of had to drop out of even Harvard University. And then she worked small jobs and then started writing and rose to a very good career where she's a published poet and, you know, the poet laureate of Maryland. And the way I looked at it is that, you know, the earth is a living thing and there's a supreme power that is, and where the earth is the favorite child of the universe. And similarly, the black people with their kinky hair, where the supreme power or God or whatever you want to believe is, you know, sort of lovingly, caressingly putting the fingers through the kinky hair and saying you're precious, you know, with all your qualities, whether it's a shambling bear or a black hawk circling. And then that black hawk circling and picking it, the body clean, sort of reminded me of someone being buried and how Mother Earth or whatever you want to believe in sort of takes care of the body, you know, sort of picks it clean. The bones are picked clean of the flesh. And, you know, Mother Earth, that power sort of, you know, when I'm making my kids' hair, you brush your fingers through the hair. So it sort of aroused the same symbolism in me. And I didn't sort of try to dissect it too much further.
One 30-second I have to add, you know, and black hair, black women, they have their hair straightened out because they hate the kinkiness of it.
Yeah, so it's against that kind of idea and in favor of normal black kinky hair. I think the conclusion is the following: that the earth is a living thing, and black people are one of its favorite children. Black is a favorite child of the earth, the universe. It's black people. They're a favorite part of the world. It's trying to say that they are special and part of this world. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, I need to. There is a typo in the poem.
In the?
There are plenty of typos. There are a few typos in there, yes.
PICL.
Yeah, pickled or picked.
Which one? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Herbert.
But I think you typed it yourself, Kumkum.
I did.
Yeah. Anyway, how are we for time?
We are bad. You still have to read my poem.
Oh, yes, it's coming, Raj. You can go right now.
Thank you.
Coming.
Zafar had to leave.
Yeah, see, he didn't stay to read, to wait for me. See, he's my classmate. See, he knows better.
Okay, where you go, or Raj's poem is up on the board. Please have a look and then we'll talk. Okay, Raj, go and we'll follow it.
All right.
We'll follow you with the poem.
All right. Folly. Desiderius Erasmus wrote in Latin in praise of folly 500 years ago, the church providing folly gratis. Stone the blasphemer was not the hue and cry. Erasmus prefaced it with excuses that everyone was foolish, sometimes less, sometimes more. Besides, it was in Latin. Only studious schoolboys had grown up enjoying it. For these, the fun was on everyone. Now all is in English. Everyone reads, few understand. Folly is everywhere. There is no reprieve. You want me to read it once more?
No, I think we have it there. It's
Good.
quite clear. It's quite clear.
Good.
In fact, it's too clear. If anything, this poem is too pat. It just says what it says flat out. So the reader doesn't have any space to think differently or turn it round or look at it in any other way. It's just telling us that's how it is, that's how it was. And we're all part of the foolish crowd. So, well, what are we supposed to say if the poem tells you that we are foolish? Reply, Raj. Reply to my point. Let's see you reply. I'm challenging you. This poem says we're foolish. It tells the reader you're a fool. What is the reader supposed to do?
Not quite, actually. So,
I'm exaggerating.
no, what it is, it's. I get it to the end. Let's somebody else.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So go ahead.
problem.
Yeah, anybody else want to come in?
What is it? Kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing that the church providing folly gratis, sort of making fun of how the church must have been so holier than thou type of thing. And that Stone the blasphemer was not the hue and cry. He prefaced it with excuses, blah, 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 and it was in Latin. So only studious schoolboys enjoyed it. Nobody else could read it. So it was kind of a hidden joke.
Yes.
Now it's all open. And everyone reads it, but few understand. So there's no joke anymore, something like that. There's no fun left. Folly is everywhere, so folly is no more fun now. It's so common. There's no reprieve from this boredom kind of.
Yeah, this poem could also have been in praise of Latin.
Okay, but let's take the subject from another angle. So the world was going through a period with the church and stuff like that, and this ecclesiast, he was a Renaissance priest at that time. I mean, he was forward-looking, and he didn't like the way the church was behaving, and he wrote this book as a critique of the mores of the time, and especially of the church. And the church provided plenty of mistakes and stupid things of its own. And this was a critique of the church at that time and of humanity. And now it's in English, and the poem is saying we don't have distance from it because in Latin, everybody else was the fool except the reader who was laughing at everybody else from within the Latin. But now we're all the fools and we can see ourselves in English in this book, and there's no reprieve. What would reprieve be? That there are no more foolish people? Or that half the foolish people can't read the book, and then there would be some reprieve, because they would be the fools and we would not.
Yeah.
Okay, Raj, go.
Okay. All right. First of all, if you look up Desiderius Erasmus in Wikipedia, it's he was not exactly a priest. He's a cleric of some kind. Also, that's one fact. The other fact was that he was a very good friend of Thomas More, the chancellor of it. In fact, the book was dedicated to Thomas More. And he says in the preface that I dedicate it to you so that if anybody finds fault with me, they can find fault with you rather than with me. All right. Okay. And see, the book, it started the Renaissance critiquing. So there's folly, and folly is finding, it praises all, folly talks of all the things that she has done. And lots of those things that she talks about have to do with the church. And the church being a much bigger part of your life in those days than it is today. Okay, that's much the first stanza, if you want. I got the Stone the Blasphemer is from a movie called what's it called? It's called The Life of Brian, okay, with John Cleese in it. So there is a scene where it says stone the blasphemer, and they throw stones. Okay. So stone the blasphemer was not the hue and cry. So nobody wanted to stone Erasmus at the end of this, when the book came out, because, all right, because first of all, because it was, he put all the excuses, and he said that, look, I am foolish too. And everybody is foolish sometime. And he gives references and he says, okay, even God was foolish part of the time. All right. And he quotes St. Paul and so on. Okay. And the only difference was that they were sometimes less foolish, sometimes more foolish. Also, the book was in Latin. Okay. Now, I mean, and those who, so actually, like even the bishop and the cardinal of so and so enjoyed the book because everybody was made fun of. He didn't leave anybody out. Okay. So now we come to the modern times, and this part, the last stanza, is actually written in somewhat in sorrow, in anguish, though it doesn't appear like this, because so now you have all these media, Facebook, whatever, and so on, and look at what is going on in the United States of America, right? There is folly everywhere in the United States of America, and there is no reprieve, there is no getting away from it. And that is the last part. All right, that's what it's all about.
The folly is so serious now. You can't joke about it because it's sort of, it's real, they really mean their folly. It's not folly anymore, maybe.
I guess I gave away the author part, the poet part.
I think it's tongue in cheek where you're sort of making fun of all of us. I imagine you
would. Excuse me, I must just take a call.
All right.
Namaskar, sir.
Hello, Master Ji.
नमस्कार.
नमस्ते मास्टर जी, माफ करिएगा, मैं जरा बिजी हूँ इस वक्त.
ठीक है सर, ठीक है, ठीक, ओके ओके.
मैं कंसल्टेशन में हूँ.
कल
कल मैं फोन करूंगा आपको. Bye. Bye.
थैंक
So that's great. We're all getting a consultation. You owe us.
I can't explain. I'm in a poetry circle.
So is this Master Ji like a tailor? Tailor
Yes,
Master Ji?
he's my Delhi Master Ji.
Ah.
Where were we? Okay, Raj, I think we agree with the sentiment of the poem, and well, we agree with everything in the poem.
Thank you.
Mukum, did you complete what you were saying?
I was wondering if it was
Ah.
a tongue-in-cheek poem where you're making fun of humanity, or if it's a serious poem.
Would I, Kumkum, would I do that? Would I do something like that?
Who's the author, sir? Who's the author?
Okay, Raj, tell us.
Yeah, that's me or that's I, depending on whether you call it the English teacher or not. Yeah, it's by Narayan Rajan. Yeah.
Well done, Raj. Well done.
Thank you.
Great.
Well,
Oh, you wrote it yourself?
Yeah.
Very good.
Wonderful, amazing.
Excellent. Well, we're getting quite a lot of creativity in the group. There are people writing away. And here comes another poem by another author here present. And he has been missing this poem it's been waiting for us to read. And it's Sujoy. I'm going to let you go, Sujoy, 1 minute. It's a poem that needs reading slightly slowly. So give everybody a chance.
Have you sent it, Harbans?
Yes, sorry?
No, nothing.
It should be with you now.
Yep.
We don't know who is the author of this poem for the moment, okay? But it was presented by Sujoy.
Red.
It needs careful reading, this poem. I'm not sure if everybody will be able to enjoy it and get as much out of it at the end of our meeting. But if everybody has had one read, then maybe Sujoy will give us two readings, and then we'll catch most of the meaning. Sujoy, please go.
Okay, thank you. And and thank you for holding it for so many meetings that I've missed. Okay, the poem's called Growing Pains. The world spins, or is it my head? I lay on a white sand beach, or is it my bed? Questions in my head, unanswered again. Actions to be taken, undone again. Life has a meaning, or does it? We would like to believe, or do we? Hope guides us through, or does it? Time heals wounds, or do they just fade? I found a place, not really my own. I've tread the path, not the one I chose. We choose our friends, or does life choose them? Destiny is in our hands, or is our hand in destinies. The peace is within, or is the within peace. The mind is a playground and playtime is over. But the child in me doesn't want to listen. The man in me wants to get out, but it's not quite the right time. Then again, when is the time right?
One more time, please.
Okay. Growing pains. The world spins, or is it my head? I lay on a white sand beach, or is it my bed? Questions in my head, unanswered again. Actions to be taken, undone again. Life has a meaning, or does it? We would like to believe, or do we? Hope guides us through, or does it? Time heals wounds, or do they just fade? I found a place, not really my own. I've tread the path, not the one I chose. We choose our friends, or does life choose them? Destiny is in our hands, or is our hand in destinies? The peace is within, or is the within peace? The mind is a playground, and playtime is over. But the child in me doesn't want to listen. The man in me wants to get out, but it's not quite the right time. Then again, when is the time right?
Well, was anybody else as impressed as I was by this poem? Does anybody else want to come in? Arun, please go. Can't hear you. Mike,
You need
Mike.
Mine,
unmute
I
it.
muted.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make any sounds here. So I love this poem. It's beautifully written. And what I love about it is that basically is the human condition. It's a spiritual evolution, how we are seeking, we are lost. And the question that comes to my mind is there free will or isn't it? You know, I mean, basically what the author is trying to convey is that I think I have free will, but I'm not sure. You know, the doubt is constantly in his mind. And basically, in my mind, again, going back to the Hindu philosophy, is karma, cause and effect. You know, we've done something wrong. My destiny is not my own because of my past things that I may have done. So this all, you know, wraps it around very nicely for me. Really well done. Thank you.
Anybody else want to say something? Rahul.
Vivek wants to. Vivek.
Rahul.
I think it's a witty poem, and it questions all the statements we keep making all the time, all the cliched phrases that we have.
Correct.
Destiny hands and the time is right, and or is it? So it just questions each one of those statements in a very witty poem, very nicely written poem, I guess.
Vivek, please.
So I went to college in the mid 70s, and that was like the evolution of really amazing rock music. And we would sit often, intoxicated with something or the other. And this is exactly the same kind of angst we would be going through. This is like a very Roald Dahl, Charles Schulz, everybody, mixed up in your life, and like hearing this amazing rock music of confusion, angst. So I identify with this from those days, but I'm not so sure as I've grown up whether I really am that confused today, So I guess life has its own circle, the way it's like, I don't know, I guess all of us must have gone through times like this, but it's a very mid 70s. This is such an amazing mid 70s poem. In fact, I had a poster in my room which said, "How far shall I go?" Or for that matter, "How near?" And it's just exactly, the same thing.
Vivek, allow me to say this,
Yeah.
that it's not a mid-70s poem. It's for you a mid-70s poem.
Yeah.
But it's a universal adolescence and finding yourself poem from the day that humanity has been thinking about itself. This is what Stone Age man was thinking, and this is what we are thinking today. These are the same questions we ask ourselves every day, and every second day we come back to them. It's a very clever poem. Sunita, bolo.
First, I was just thinking the last paragraph at first I was wondering what exactly does it mean the man in me wants to get out. So since it's called growing pain, so it is that I grow up and become an adult.
Yes.
Yet there's some doubt that, it's still going to be the same thing, all these unanswered questions and all that, because that's it. I don't know. Nobody knows, kind of,
Yes.
Yeah. Does one really grow up, and does anything actually change? Are there really answers after you grow up, or it just continues like that? So is there
I hope it remains like this throughout one's life.
Yes.
Relevant.
Yes.
That never having to really grow up. The child within should always be there, jumping around with glee over something or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed
sure about
Sunita
anything.
has a boomerang.
Hmm?
I noticed that Sunita has a boomerang hung on the wall.
Yeah, there is, yes.
Very
It's only
clever.
when it comes back.
Raj, that's a very good observation. But this poem is a bit of a boomerang. But do you agree with something else? Another point that one can say about this poem is the rhetorical cleverness of the poem, that it gives you a persona of a mild, self-questioning, self-doubting voice who is so endearing by the very fact that the person is not all-knowing, telling you the wisdom of the world, what you should and shouldn't do, how to get it right. It's the very questioning of these solutions that we have that make the poem all the more powerful, and the voice that's stating them attractive. And this is a device. This is a writing technique. This is a conceit to give you a man who talks in this very tentative way. And you want to meet him and say, hey man, sit down. We've really got to talk about this. You really know where it's at. I'm just as confused as you. So this is a very clever way of talking philosophy. This is my little take on this. Anybody else?
Harbans, I figured why you love this poem. This is just totally up your alley in the kind of profession you do and try to solve people's problems or try to understand their minds.
But more than that, it's my own problems that I can't solve every day.
Oh.
That this poem takes me to them.
It applies. That applies to all of us.
Indeed,
Every
it does.
single day you're questioning.
No,
Indeed, it does.
Some of us have to pay for it.
Some of us have to pay for it.
Oh, that's
Raj introduces a nice dark aspect to this ignorance. We're all laughing about it, but in fact, this is a deadly serious subject, because we are all perplexed and we don't know what to do, and we're getting it wrong, and we're making mistakes, and we're hoping to find a solution, and we're not. So this is actually a very serious poem. It's a very serious matter.
That's only if you presume that the solution is to find an answer.
Not quite, Sunita. We're bound. I mean, you can't just go around frolicking in the street saying, "Oh, I don't care. I don't have any solutions. I'm a fool. I'm completely stupid. I don't care." No, you jolly well find a solution to where you're headed and what you're up to.
So the guy is trying to find. He's not frolicking.
Oh, yeah, he is, and that's why it's a serious poem.
So
and these are questions you cannot escape.
Yeah, but then there may not be any answer, and that's also something to accept.
And that's That's what the poem is saying. There is no answer, but we've got to keep on trying.
Yep. And not feel frustrated because we don't get the answer.
Arun has something to say.
Yes, who's saying? Kumkum.
Arun has something.
Unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself, Arun.
Yeah, I think what I see here, the feedback that we're getting from everybody is basically we all wear our colored glasses. I thought it from a spiritual point of view. Somebody thought from the point of view of their time element where they were, and of course, Harvansh brought out that this is basically there from time immemorial that we've been questioning this. If you look at Socrates or anybody else talking about something like this, he said the next generation doesn't know what they're talking about because he's reflecting what happens constantly over and over and over again. So the human condition, the mind is evolution, it's changing from the time you're born till now, and we always have these questions: who am I, where did I come from? And those are kind of things that evolve here. And I got a lot out of this poem. I think it really made a lot of sense to me from a spiritual perspective. Thank you.
I have something to throw in. From time to time, you meet people who are so at peace, who are not asking any questions, who are not wanting anything from anybody. They talk to you in a lovely, calm voice. They don't want anything. They're not searching for anything. You meet them from time to time. And you wonder, how the hell did he get there? And my question is, maybe there is a solution. Maybe there is a path. Maybe there are people. And here we need Kumkum to come in. Because because the Buddha.
Sorry to interrupt, but if I may say to your point, sir, maybe they're just treading the path that they didn't choose.
Two roads diverge.
The path they didn't choose.
Yeah, that's in the poem.
Okay.
Ah, yeah, that is in the poem, that there is a road that we did not take which could get us there. Is this what you're saying, Sujoy?
No, I think what it's saying is that you're walking the path. You're going through it. You didn't choose it, but you are doing what is either required or what you think is right. And you're just doing it. So maybe most of those people who seem calm and have sorted are actually just walking the path, but it's not really the path that they've chosen because inside they're still confused or still have questions, but they're just able to walk it with certain confidence or style.
That's one kind of person, but there are people who really are at peace, and you wonder how they got there.
Yeah,
but anyway,
like Raj, for instance. So, like Raj, for instance.
Yes, like Raj, for instance. But I think Kumkum knows something about this.
I don't claim to know too much, but the Buddhist path, and which is of course an offshoot of Hinduism, is following a path, and we tend to have this arrogance, or we tend to believe that I am doing this, and actually there's the invisible hand of karma in there. So like Sujoy, you said that maybe these people are not following a path. There's the invisible hand of karma, and it is taking you. It is what you did in your past life. Do you have happiness is defined as inner peace, where there's acceptance, and you go along in equanimity with minimal ups and downs. We're all going to have ups and downs, and that is the goal of sort of going through this path and accepting that there is rebirth. Two main things: that there's rebirth, and that there is invisible hand of karma. And that's how I look at all these questions that come along, where we want to know exactly what it is and why am I doing this. Many times is invisible hand of karma. You're going through really good times and you think, I worked hard, I got it. Actually, it may be some karma you did in the past life and you're reaping the benefits. Or you're getting a really hard day or really hard years. It's like, do I deserve it? I didn't do anything. Yes, there's karma ripening. So that's how I look at this, this path as we go along, all these questions that come along, that there's an invisible hand out there. That's what I would say. And it's not God, it's karma. So, Buddhism, even Hinduism really doesn't believe in a God state. It believes in the consciousness basis of all. And the God state is just a realm. There's the human realm, animal realm, the ghost realm, the God realm, the higher realm than that too. And so it's not a God, there are many, it's a God realm. It's a realm of existence.
We'll have to talk about this another time because there's this question of individual responsibility. If we say everything is karma, then aren't you supposed to be doing something about your own here and now? But that's a different debate. We'll come to that another time.
Actually,
Vivek.
Yeah.
So I just had this observation about the title of this poem. So it's very obviously sort of, it is for, there's no final resolution to all these issues that have been listed here. So that is why the pains are growing. Whereas for me, when I'm looking and reading this poem, for me, the ideal title would have been Growing Up Pains. The pains that one faces while growing up. I think, I mean, I don't necessarily subscribe to so much chaos in my life or so much uncertainty, at this particular age in my life. But yes, I did go through all this. I did go through all this earlier. I mean, that's my personal observation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got to move on. I think there's one or two poems still, but we're at 1.5 hours. So at this point, I'll ask Sujoy to close, and then anybody else who wants to leave can leave. And if we are 5 people still, we'll try and carry on a bit more. Sujoy.
Okay, so firstly, I'm really glad that everyone enjoyed this poem. It was written by me a few years back. Thank you.
How many years back? How many years back?
This was written in 2007.
And how old are you now? How old are you now?
I am 38.
Okay.
Sorry, no, I'm 37.
Boy, you're still a baby.
I'm still a baby, yes. I'm 37. I'm still 37. No, and so I do fancy myself a bit of a philosopher and a bit of a spiritualist at times. So I think both what Arun sir said and what you said, Arun sir, that I was trying to convey on both those levels. And to what Vivek sir said, so the intention behind the title was actually, it's supposed to mean growing up pains. I just left the up out of it. So it's not that the pains are growing, it is growing up pains. But to be honest, I still find myself as confused as when I wrote this poem. So I'm pretty much still there. But thank you. And I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, lovely poem. Great poem.
That was a good poem. Very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. Next poem. Well, anybody wants to leave now, you can please leave with good grace and we'll say good evening to you and thank you for attending.
Thank you so much.
Well,
I do have
I'll
to leave,
say
so I
good
really
night if you
appreciate it.
don't mind.
Also going to go. It's very late now.
How many
Thank you.
people have to leave?
I
Arun,
do.
Vinay. Okay, I think we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day today. Rahul, your poem has to wait till the next time, I'm afraid.
May I just say something? I just want to thank everybody for a wonderful time. I really enjoyed this forum very much. And of course, the moderator is phenomenal. Thank you.
Arun, while you're talking, you mentioned to me that you would like to start a writing workshop, a prose writing workshop, which apparently you already have going in your Florida place. So maybe if anybody here would like to join up with you, you're on the WhatsApp group. Please spread the word amongst ourselves and maybe you could put up a notice on our WhatsApp group, a notice inviting others to join you, Arun. Okay.
Giving us a little clarity about what to expect.
I would be in for that.
I'd love to join a workshop.
Arun, maybe you can have a super spreader event.
That'd be fantastic. There's only one caveat, and that is because I have 2 writers group and I have 3 meditation groups right now. I would like to have somebody run it, like Harbans is doing now. First of all, I don't know how to work this Zoom thing anymore. Frankly speaking, I'm past that point of no return. So if anybody here would like to take the lead, I would love to participate in it. I have written too much stuff already, but I want to share what I have written with you a lot. So Joy, if you're a youngster, maybe you can handle the mechanics of it.
I'll message you, sir. Let's discuss this.
Yes,
Talk
wonderful.
about
Thank you
it
so much,
amongst
Harbans.
yourselves. Talk about
Yes.
it amongst yourselves.
Right. Sure thing. Thank you so
And
much, Harbans.
I think there are other writing groups already going. Kumkum will know about this.
You know, we don't have a formal writing group among the OS, but I think if you can come up, like Harbans gave us a charter, that he had a charter for his poetry group, and we try to follow that. So if you can come up with a charter, we can definitely spread the message, and I think you would get a good, vibrant group going. You know, but
Perfect.
you have to come up with a charter, how, when, how there'll be a leader, you know, whoever it is. We form we're a group of 3 people who take responsibility. Harbans runs the meeting, Vivek writes it up, I do the PR, I message everybody individually. So if you can come up with something, we can definitely spread
And
the message.
Vivek falls off his chair.
Pardon?
I have it already written because I wrote it 20 years ago. I'll forward it to you.
Vivek is the fall chair. Okay.
That'll be great. All right, guys. See you next
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys.
Good evening,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you
Nice.
very
Good
much
evening, good
indeed.
night.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Kumkum,
Harbans. Wonderful.
nice to
chat.
see your cat. Kumkum, nice to see your cat.
I know she
I
loves
know.
She's a poetry lover, huh?
She is.
Lovely. Bye-bye, Dion. Bye-bye, Rahul, Sujoy, Sunita, Kumkum, and Vivek.
Bye-bye,
Good evening
Arman.
to everybody.
Everybody.
See you next month. See you next
Good morning.
month. Bye. Bye.
You have to write a summary of your poem, Sunita and Sujoy. You have to write a summary of your poem and the discussion and send it to Vivek, and I'll tell Arun about it. And
Which poem? We didn't do any poem today. The previous one you want?
Oh no, sorry. You didn't present one today, but all the presenters have to write a summary.
I don't have to write something even then. Okay.
Yeah, no, you got to make up a summary.
Yeah.
Poem or not, summary has to be done.
Okay, and I'll remind Arun about. I'll tell Arun about it. It's in the charter, but nobody has a charter. That's okay.
It's a courtesy that we have for everybody, you know, that we write up what happened so that those who are not here can read that, and to thank the people who presented it and so on. Anyway, here we go. Next time, take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.